and stuff you don't. It's the Ben and Bren Show.
I was just checking levels. You're good.
The what?
I was just checking the levels. You're good.
Yeah. Yeah. So on that note, John Chapman, welcome to the Ben and Bren Show.
I love it.
Super stoked to have you.
I'm glad to be here.
Engineer to the stars. John invented sound.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
Wow.
it started with the speed of 500 and some odd miles per hour. I hope that's the speed of sound.
It is now.
And it just went from there. You know?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I hear you loud and clear. You're doing a great job.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. Yeah, it's
Great
less,
invention.
Yeah.
It's less that I invented it, and I think I observed it.
Yeah.
Fair.
So
fair.
we'll take it from there.
Yeah.
How did you guys meet?
We met through our great buddy Josh Klebe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Shout out Josh. Everybody go listen to
He
Josh's
was on the
episode
pod.
after this one.
Super talented composer and a good friend.
Yeah. Josh is the best. And yeah, met working on, Josh had a score and he brought me on to help out with various stuff on it. And that's where we met.
Yeah, it was like right before
It was like
shutdowns.
Well, it was
during
in the middle of
pandemic.
it.
That's right. It was like
It was
like
actually
March
like
17th
peak,
or
kind of.
something.
Yeah. It was kind of like peak COVID.
What do you think they'll do when we have another COVID thing? Are we going to shut it down again, you think? Not while Trump's in
God.
office. Yeah, probably.
I doubt
Yeah.
it would shut down again.
Yeah.
At the risk of sounding like a crazy conservative,
Yeah.
I don't want to do that again.
yeah.
No. I don't, in hindsight, turn off the metronome. In hindsight, it's complicated because, obviously it was a super dangerous time and situation, but at the same time, that fucked so much shit up, like putting a halt on things.
Oh man.
Like what we're talking about, like the strikes, all of these things. These are not exclusive to that, inflation, but it's a huge part of it was everything stopping and coming back on.
Totally.
Like that fucked so much shit up, and we're still dealing with it today, and will be, I think, for the foreseeable future.
I feel like we could have kept everything open and just protected the vulnerable. Like, stay at home, or if you're an old person or if you're susceptible, low immune system, I feel like it could have just been handled so
still
differently.
got it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It didn't really stop.
I still got it,
Anything.
and I was like
Yeah.
not going anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Like it still made its rounds.
Yeah.
So it didn't really, maybe, I don't know. I mean, there's no telling like who and how much was saved, but still made the rounds.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it didn't like stop people from getting it or
No.
anything. It did not get contained. Like it was
We should also preface this by saying like the loss of life is always a bad thing.
always
Always a bad thing.
Don't condone murder. Don't condone we have secular morals, but
I will absolutely stay the fuck inside if Ebola starts spreading around. Let's be real
100%.
about that. I will be
100%.
locking my fucking door.
yeah.
I will be
This is a stupid question, but is there a vaccine for
No.
Ebola?
No.
Okay.
No, not that
Got
I know
it.
of. And didn't they have like a scare in New York like 2 days ago?
Yeah.
Oh, just
Yeah.
that recently?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I mean, have heard like cases pop up, over the last year or two or whatever. But
It's getting really safe to fly too. Lately.
Oh, dude, yeah.
It's good.
what is up with that
Yeah,
this year?
it's-
like
Okay, does anybody else like remember that kid in 2013 that said that we got that our universe got like knocked off course?
I don't remember this.
No.
Let's hear about
And
it.
ever
But I'm
since then,
into
I mean,
it.
I just vaguely remember this.
Sounds like my YouTube
Maybe it's-
algorithm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this-
there we go.
Yeah.
Maybe this is like a Mandela effect, but
Yeah.
but like I vaguely remember this being like a topic of discussion, and I don't know, maybe that's what's happened.
Yeah.
We've just been knocked off course, and
Just got some gravitational forces that are shifty.
Mercury's
yeah.
just perpetually in retrograde.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Whatever that means. Still don't know what that actually means.
Yeah.
Well, I just say it's Mercutio's and Dookie braid. You know, that's my
I don't know what that is.
exactly.
Yeah.
No difference.
There's no difference.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah.
But yeah, I like to record music all through this chaos.
Yeah. Yeah. How did you sort of manage that? Like,
Well, you know, it's so through the pandemic, we were able to do a lot of stuff just remote.
yeah.
And fortunately, I just know enough people, and I came up through Hans Zimmer's camp. I was just connected to enough people that work just kept flowing to me, and then into 2021 and 2022, just kept me pumping and going. So, you know.
And so, how did you, for like bigger, because your sessions will range in size
Sure.
of personnel, like obviously smaller ones or less personnel, it's easier to manage. What are there like, 60-piece orchestras recording
okay.
or
Dude, so this is talking about 2020. Like we're talking about like peak 2020. No one's in sessions. So two things. We did in Hollywood. We would do sessions where there was social distancing. So 6 feet between any string players and then 10 feet between any wind or brass players. And they actually rotated the orientation of the scoring stages so that it was long ways and so that the people would have separation. I work on The Simpsons, and we do like a small ensemble for that every week, and we did that remote. Just like the musicians played it at home, or they sang
Everybody
it at
was
home.
remote.
Everybody was remote.
Interesting.
And they would send it to me, and I would assemble everything with my assistant, and time everything and whatnot.
And they're playing obviously just to a click at
To a click,
home.
yeah,
and then
exactly.
Not live everybody at the same time.
No,
right?
yeah. So it'd be everybody. They'd be sent
Yeah.
a click and a ref track.
Yeah.
In a Pro Tool session.
Yeah.
And they would record to it. So all these musicians who never had to touch any recording devices in their life were all of a sudden like cast into like,
Yeah.
fuck, I got to do all this.
yeah.
Were you always a Simpsons fan?
I love The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's really good now.
Yeah.
It's a very different show than what I remember growing up.
Where should I start?
You can
I've
start
never
anywhere.
watched it.
You've never seen The Simpsons?
Have you ever seen
Seen
a
a
episode?
couple of episodes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Dude, start from like season 1.
Yeah. Just started.
Seriously, yeah.
I think it's fascinating to see some of the like how they've predicted things.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's
They're-
amazing.
It is
like
crazy.
It's really mind blowing.
There's also so many episodes.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Like,
I don't know. There's like, we're on season 36?
Yeah, crazy.
So whatever that is
That's
by
nuts.
22.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was a music director in Memphis for the National Cartoonist Convention like probably 10 years ago, and I put the band together, and people flew in for awards or whatever. And what's his name?
David Silverman.
David Silverman.
Oh, right.
Was there, and I got to meet him and stuff. That was cool. He played
Yeah.
his tuba marching down
with the flames.
I don't know if he had flames. Yeah, yeah.
That's amazing.
Played his tuba. Yeah, marching down the aisle or whatever. It was
love it.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Wait, it's not a tuba. Is it a tuba? What are the ones that wrap around you called?
Tuba.
What is
Tuba.
a tuba.
Yeah.
That's like a march. That's like
A
the
marching
one.
okay, I thought it was
yeah,
for some reason called
There's
something.
the
sousaphones, like the
Oh,
French
sousaphone, that's what I'm
horn.
thinking.
sousaphone,
Sousaphone.
Yeah.
and then euphonium.
Euphonium, that's
Yeah.
what I mean. Yeah.
Mhm.
Sousaphone's like the marching.
But the euphonium
tuba.
looks like a traditional orchestral tuba.
Yeah,
But just
yeah.
smaller.
You hold
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
You hold
Yeah.
it like this
Yeah,
and
exactly.
it doesn't wrap around.
It's
I
giving
think.
French horn
Yeah.
Yeah.
vibes.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mobile French horn.
Yeah.
Mobile French horn.
Yeah. I met David Silverman like probably almost 10 years ago at Hamilton, and he was with Michael Giacchino. They're like good homies.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
He's a director now. Michael Giacchino
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
And his son is composing.
Yeah. Didn't he do Batman? Or no, not Batman.
Skeleton
Penguin.
Crew. Oh, did he do Penguin?
think so, yeah.
Oh,
good for
that was a
him.
great score.
Yeah. No, it was great.
So
I
good.
saw Giacchino, but it wasn't. It might be like
It's Mick.
I was like, is that Michael Giacchino? But then I looked it up, and it's his
Definitely.
son.
I mean,
Penguin was awesome show.
Yeah,
didn't
fucking
see
love
it.
that show. You didn't see it?
I gotta be honest with you. I'm like, whenever I see and this is like the creative teams I applaud on every level, but I'm like I would really like to move away from the superhero stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I'm just
Please.
fatigued.
Yeah.
Now that being said, I will. You know, I'm gonna if somebody's like, I got a penguin show, I'm like, hey, I'm
Get
on
down.
that
I
shit.
am down.
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
gonna make this as best as possible.
for
on
sure.
that.
But as
For
like
sure.
an audience member,
Yeah. As a consumer, like
yeah.
let's switch it up. Let's switch it up.
Yeah.
I was actually talking to Vanessa about this sort of idea. Like I was saying, Vanessa is a creative exec and is a part of the corporate world. And we passed like an advertisement for some movie. I can't remember which one it was, but it was a sequel. And we're in this sequel culture. We're in this IP culture. Like it's like people aren't gonna buy shit if it's not IP kind of thing. And I was like, what is the conversation like top down around that? Like, how is that sort of been prioritized, or how's that all worked out the way it is? What's the communication? And she was like, it's not that it's people are like only IP. It's like not that spelled out, but what it is to get things made, particularly in those like big corporate studios. It's like there has to be as close of a guarantee that it'll make money as possible. And so when really more independent or news story type things get pitched, they're less likely to get greenlit or bought because there isn't if it's like, what's gonna get the audience to go to the theater? And like then thus, I mean, this is a longer conversation, but thus it's like, okay, yeah, people love Spider-Man. They'll go to the theater to see Spider-Man.
So it's
We
about
can
just
make that
it's like being able to predict the numbers essentially.
as
Yeah.
close to as possible. I
Yeah.
think, yeah. But then there's, and that was kind of the point I made. It's like movies are also they're costing more than they've ever cost to make, but they're also making more than they've ever made. It's like back in the day, you would, I mean, even probably including for adjusting for inflation, but you look at older movies or in the 70s or whatever, it didn't cost nearly as much. Maybe, I don't know, I'm totally bullshitting off the top of my head, $5 million to
Yeah,
make a
you're not
movie
wrong.
or something. But then it would make 20 million or whatever. But now it's like the movie costs 75 million.
Well, more than that, dude.
For sure. And
And they make
we'll
$1
make
billion.
250
Yeah.
million
Yeah.
Well,
or
the goal is
something.
$1 billion, right?
Yeah.
But you think, okay, so they make 4 movies at $300 million each or whatever, and they flop. Like
Yeah.
at what point does the studio say, all right, we're gonna make a movie for $50 million? I mean, I guess some of them do say this. We're gonna make a movie for $50 million, and we're just gonna let it be about a story, not a visual effects, none of this like big bombastic stuff. Like let it just be a good story. Is that not isn't that not a better investment?
Yep.
You would, I think, yeah. I mean, I agree. The Conclave was that.
Conclave.
it.
I mean, or Christopher Nolan, his movies don't cost, $200 million. I don't think. I think didn't his last one cost like 75 or
I'm not
something
sure.
crazy?
That's interesting though.
Maybe I'm wrong, very wrong
Yeah.
about this, but I think it was like way under what you'd think it would cost.
Yeah, I mean but that's why I like A24 is a great example.
Oh, I love
like
them.
They're making a lot of really cool original movies, but they're not $100 million movies,
Yeah.
like, or grossing $100 million. Like they're smaller profits, and apparently they are trying to scale up in this sort of way to some sort of difficulty. But yeah,
I
I
love
mean,
their films.
I just within the last couple months watched Network from the 70s. Have you ever
right.
seen that?
No.
It's really good.
Is it
Really
good?
Did you end up watching it?
I haven't watched it yet.
You particularly
Yeah.
have to watch
Yeah.
it. I've probably talked about this also. a
Yeah, you
handful of
have.
times on
Yeah.
here. It's really good. Do you know what it is?
I have no idea.
It's about a TV network, and there's an anchor, news anchor, weather anchor that's been on there for a long time, and he gets fired. And he's like really pissed about it, and he goes on air and he said, "I'm gonna kill myself on my last report."
Good for him.
Yeah. And like the ratings went crazy, and they were like, "Okay, we have to keep him on now. Like we just have to let him like speak his mind and go crazy." And it's actually very appropriate for how today is.
Yeah.
All right.
Like it translates in a really interesting way. But yeah, like that wouldn't be made today, like generally.
Oh, right.
And I mean, the 70s were probably my favorite decade for music and movies. Like that was a great period. It was like
Limited. When I think about the 70s, I think about like, okay, you have limited track numbers, and
Exactly.
you're committing to ideas.
you had just enough technology to do some really cool shit, but not too much to where you could just didn't have to be creative.
Yeah.
Like it was a really great intersection
All right.
of all of it.
I mean, it's interesting. I spend with a lot of people I work with. We spend a lot of time discussing what to like just let go of.
Yeah.
It just exists the way that it is.
Yeah.
And what to kind of get in the weeds with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try to embrace that philosophy.
It's so easy to, like with music particularly, like focus on shit sometimes that just like doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Like
totally.
it just doesn't
I like to
matter.
throw the kitchen sink at every song that we ever do, and I've gotten better at being like, okay, let's dial it back.
Yeah. Well, it's also good to like, throw a bunch of shit down and
Yeah.
just fuck around and then
Take some of it out.
yeah, like then strip it. It's like, okay, what do we actually need here?
Sure.
And then that ends up being not very much. Like you really don't need a lot to get the point across.
Well, what's an example of like something simple to you? Like,
A great song, I think, is like a great song. Oftentimes, you can describe as being simple.
right?
Like
Is Prince simple to you?
that's a good point. That's a good question. I would say that. No.
Yeah.
Well, okay, but he's austere. Whoop,
Yeah.
I fucked this up.
You're good. Yeah.
But he's austere,
Yeah.
right? He's not simple.
Yeah.
He just
Yeah.
he's very
Define
he's very everything's really intentional.
Yeah,
But there's not
yeah.
much of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's kind of the thing too. It's like there's not a million things happening, but the things that are happening are very deep.
Totally.
Like you were saying, it's like he was really working in the day where it's like, this is how many tracks you got. What do you do with that?
Right.
And he just flexed the fuck out of every single part.
Okay, but when I think of simple, right? I just think of like guitar and vocals. That's it. A good song can exist kind of
Yeah.
in any space. So like what is his name? Blaze Foley, like that type of just like guitar. He's telling a little story. That's that.
Well, and I think my barometer for when I write a song is, does it sound good with just piano?
All right.
Or just guitar or whatever. I think that really has to be your barometer. Like, can you actually perform the song that you put in Pro Tools and make
In
it
the
really
real
sound
world.
good? Yeah.
Yeah.
Out
Yeah.
at a gig. Yeah.
For sure.
So,
Yeah, I mean, you can kind of witness it out in the real world, and I'm somewhat biased, but for me, like, all you really need is if we're talking about songs, vocal, and if it's a song that lends itself to it, drums.
All right.
Rhythm and melody. Like that's really when you're out in the world and you hear like if you're at a restaurant, you hear the music playing, what are you hearing? You're generally hearing the drums and the voice.
Does this exclude like lyrics? Are you including or are you just speaking?
I think no, just all like lyrics, melody, like. But I also think like in every music and every song, even specifically, it depends on what traits are the strongest. But I think melody drives everything.
Totally.
I think like lyrics are important, and particularly what type of song it is or what it's about or whatever. But like, in my opinion, and obviously music is subjective and art's subjective, so other people could feel differently. I think if you have a great melody, you could almost make the lyrics a lot of different things. Whereas if you have a shit melody but great lyrics, for me, it's not going to speak.
Okay, well,
the same way.
let's see. Can we find what's an example of something that is maybe not as strong of a melody, but has great lyrics?
I mean, you could obviously say like Bob Dylan, some of Bob Dylan shit. But at the same time, though, Bob Dylan, that was my issue with this biopic that just came out. I thought it was a great movie. Like, I thought it was entertaining, but it was like the singing was too accurate.
Oh, interesting.
Like, it was like too. If you listen to Bob Dylan, it's shape. It's not even really notes. It's like contour. Whereas like Timothy Chalamet singing them, it's a very clear melody. Like, you can hear the notes very clearly, which
God,
is
I'm thinking right now, like, I'm just like, if you were to ask me to sing a Bob Dylan song, I don't know that I'd be able to like just whip it out.
Yeah. Like from memory or just like
from memory. Like,
yeah,
I mean, sure, if you put it on, I'd be like, oh yeah. But
yeah.
thinking about it right now, I'm like, what the fuck is his song? Like, what?
Yeah.
He truly is
like a
unknown.
Rolling Stone.
Yeah.
What's
Oh, right. How does it feel?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But like, I respect Bob Dylan. I saw Bob Dylan in Memphis actually, like
Really?
13, 14 years ago.
How old is he?
He's getting up there.
Yeah.
For sure. But like, that's not really what I'm gonna throw on when I want to listen to some music. Like, that's not like my go-to shit. But
I think on the opposite end, I think Adele has fucking great melodies.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah.
for sure, and like Adele's lyrics to me are a good example of simple and effective. Like, they're nothing fucking crazy, but it's like just what it needs, and it's easy for really powerhouse vocalists, I think, to overdo the melody, overdo the songwriting. Like, you oftentimes, like, really talented singers aren't necessarily the best songwriters.
Right.
Totally.
Whereas, like, the best songwriters aren't really that great of singers, in the sense of, like, technicality. But Adele is, like, the full package.
Oh, totally. And you can take her lyrics and place them in any genre.
Yeah.
And those melodies in any genre.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they hold up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's universal.
Yeah.
It's a universal value.
Okay, but what about like maximalist? Like when you think about like a maximalist type of artist who's just who literally their music is good because they have thrown everything in there.
I think you could put a lot of classical composers in
but
that.
the songwriters. Think about songwriters.
Okay. On that note, before we get to the songwriters, we went and saw Rite of Spring at the
right.
Hollywood Bowl this summer.
How was it?
Fucking
Fire.
amazing.
Did you both go?
Did I go? No, I didn't go.
I
can't remember.
think you went. No, I think it was just
I can't
me and
remember
Vanessa.
anything anymore.
You know, I've never been to the Hollywood Bowl.
Oh,
Ever?
I go to the Walt Disney Concert Hall a lot.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have like trauma from going through the the Cahuenga Pass and coming across the traffic from that, and I'm
It's
like,
awful. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
awful.
yeah.
I live close enough I could actually walk or like scooter,
All right.
to take one of those birds. But
love the
I need to
bowl.
get tickets. I said I was going to get a package deal for the
Yeah.
Disney Concert Hall this season.
Dude,
Have you
got
been
some
there?
great shit?
Disney Hall. Yeah, I go quite frequently actually.
Okay.
I just went. I saw I forget the pianist's name, but he did.
Yes.
He did Ravel.
Yes, I wanted to go to that.
And and they did the Brahms Quartet #1, but they did the Schoenberg full orchestration, so it's the full orchestra playing it.
Wow.
It's pretty good. And talk about maximalism. I mean, I feel like Schoenberg was quite dense, his orchestration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and also Ravel. I mean, you can't beat him.
It's my favorite.
In terms of orchestration, he's a fucking
Yeah.
I
mean,
pretty
he's the
much
goat.
exclusively play classical pieces from the Romantic era.
All right.
Yeah.
Bren's a really good piano player.
That's good. Just play some Bach.
Not a
batch.
It's the musician's musician.
Yeah. Very technical. Yeah, I like the.
Brennan's more romantic.
I'm a
I get
I'm
it.
a jazz
I get it.
nerd
I get
too,
it.
so I love all of that era includes a lot of jazz early jazz
Seventh
influence.
chords.
I mean, totally. I mean, what the friend I went with, she leans over and she goes, "Oh, it sounds like Gershwin." And
Yeah.
I was like, I mean, Gershwin sounds like Ravel.
Yeah, yeah,
Let's be real.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Ravel came first.
Flip that.
Yeah.
Actually, I saw that. I think it was like Schoenberg's son or somebody in his family. They lost like a ton of his shit in the fire.
fires? That
yeah.
sucks.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's what's so tragic about the fires is like the stuff that money can't replace.
Yeah.
Like specifically like that or
Hard
like
drives.
art collections.
Yeah.
Like you can't insurance may
Cover the
reimburse
cost.
you, but
Yeah.
you can't go get another Picasso made
No,
or whatever.
no.
I wonder how much we've lost and how much we've lost just in art.
I was talking to my dad who knew, he doesn't live out here, but he knew somebody who was saying that they knew somebody who probably lost like $1 billion in fine art.
So let me get this straight. Your dad knew somebody who knew somebody?
Yeah.
So was your dad rich too?
No.
Okay.
No. Definitely not that. I mean,
He's
he was
doing well.
He was a doctor and he like did well for himself, but he's not.
Lives
No,
on the
my
beach.
dad
that
was a
level.
doctor. It's
Yeah.
Just, we
Lives
grew up-
on the beach in
It was
Sanibel
gated.
Island.
The house was
Yeah.
gated. It
Yeah.
was
He was not an art collector.
Yeah.
Rich.
Yeah.
just fucking with you.
But yeah, so it's terrible. But maximalist.
I'm having a hard time.
Song.
I'm gonna be.
Okay, what comes to me is like Animal Collective, Panda Bear, like they can be minimal, but when they're like all in, like there's so much going on.
Hiatus
Yeah.
Coyote.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Frank Zappa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But these are particular things.
Yeah.
Rush.
But they work really well.
Yeah.
As I can't think about them being stripped down.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Yeah,
it wouldn't.
yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The black page is the black page because of it being a black page.
Right.
Yeah, but there's definitely, we can name far fewer of those.
Oh, the
than-
maximalist.
Yeah.
Well, I think Josh is kind of a maximalist when it comes to his writing.
From that like classical composer tradition.
I can't
Yeah.
wait to
Yeah.
make some music with him. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
we're
gonna be
gonna
sick.
make some like
talented.
Sugar Ross
Yeah.
vibes.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Is that what was discussed last night at Soho House?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
we talked about it on the pod too. Like, yeah, I mean, I love scores too. So like any kind of like, yeah, like Sigur Rós, like that.
What's
Yeah.
your favorite? What's your guys' favorite scores of the last 10 years?
Last 10 years.
Right, 20 years. 20 years. Let's asking the difficult questions.
That's difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's within the last 20 years, so that would put us at 2005. That's fucked up. That's 20 years
Interstellar.
ago.
Everybody always
that's
plays that.
you know what?
Interstellar.
That's my number. I gotta say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's your number
And
one.
I worked on it. And I'm
Nice.
like,
Yeah.
but
Not biased.
I'm not biased. But I really do think it's probably one of the best scores.
Yeah,
I
no,
need to
it's
learn
amazing.
the cornfield thing so I can play it when people are like, "Can you play the thing?" Everybody plays it in a mall or whatever. You know, people film
popped
it.
off on as a meme
Oh, yeah.
accompaniment.
Yeah.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
his reach, Zimmer's reach is like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
it's insane.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
It is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Interstellar is amazing. I'm of course like on the spot and
Didn't he do
blanking.
The Day After Tomorrow too? Or is that Howard Shore maybe?
The day after.
You know, with
tomorrow.
Jake Gyllenhaal, it was years ago. It was more than 20 years ago at this point, probably.
Can we look it up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one's a beautiful score.
You know what? Actually, what's just popping to mind, and I know there's going to be some other ones that I'm just not thinking about, but one of my favorite things of recent memory, favorite score is we went to the Sphere in August.
That's
and saw
right.
that nature doc, the Aronofsky nature
How was
doc.
that?
Fucking
So
amazing.
good.
Amazing.
So
and the
good.
score for that was next level.
Yeah.
That was
It was like the collective of dudes. I forget
Yeah.
the Echo Society.
Echo
Yes.
Society.
Yeah.
Yes.
All talented guys. Harold Closer.
Harold Closer. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's a great score. You should check that out. Yeah.
And then James Newton Howard's The Last Airbender.
Yeah.
Really good.
I didn't see that.
I didn't see the movie either, but the score is really good.
Okay, yeah. I'd have to check that out.
You know what movie I want to rewatch? This doesn't have anything to do with scores, but I was on a YouTube rabbit hole the other day when I was high and was watching Howard Hughes.
Like the Howard Hughes.
Yeah, just like the story of him and the aviator. Leonardo DiCaprio played it. That dude was nuts. Yeah, so I'm gonna check that movie out soon.
Yeah.
You haven't seen The Aviator?
No, I've seen it. I saw it when it came out, like I don't know, 20 something years ago, probably. Yeah, but I'm gonna be honest with you. That KT, I think I'm rolling again. I'm serious.
Okay, so
I did Molly on Sunday, and there's like a little afterglow that you get, and I think that just kicked it back up.
No.
Yeah.
have you had
No.
I've done drugs. No.
have you had this kratom tea before?
No.
Okay, so it's like I feel like it's gonna pop off here in the coming
It's somewhat
years.
addictive.
Is that what you're drinking?
Yeah.
So there's this place up the street, at the end of the street here, called Kava Culture.
Okay. Yes, I hear you.
Yeah.
This feeds into a question that I've always had, which is what the fuck is that place? Because I pass by
Kava
it.
Culture?
Yeah, I pass by it all the time. Okay.
I
Tell
think
you
it's a cult.
exactly what it is.
I think there's a
I
basement.
think it
cult.
actually just opened exactly 4 years ago. I think they had their like 4-year anniversary. They had like a party, but it's they have coffee there. It's a drink place, but really
Southeastern culture.
kava,
Yeah.
which is a drink.
What is kava?
It's like a Polynesian. The kratom and kava are both leaves.
Yeah.
First of all, amazing.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
love leaves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out leaves.
Shout out to leaves.
Yeah,
They have a lot of powers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Superpowers.
Yeah.
Grind it up the right way.
Yeah.
And I don't get the kava much, but when I first had this kratom tea, I went in there with some buddies like before a session, and we got them not knowing what it was. We just thought we were just getting like some tea and coffee and whatever, and came back here. We were like it's like we thought we were like caffeinated.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of the feeling we had
Without the like cokey,
without
whacked
the,
out.
like-
Is there caffeine in it?
no.
No, but it naturally lifts. Yeah, it's got a euphoric sort of.
But what is it? What chemical is it that does this?
I forget the name of it.
Cobbletons.
I'm a chemist. I'm a chemist.
Yeah.
And
It's the night job.
by the way, this is Kava Culture
Yeah.
in Atwater Village.
Atwater Village. Shout out Kava Culture.
hipster.
Sponsor us. We love you. I also give you a lot of business.
Yeah, Covalectones. Yeah, is what it is.
Love.
Yeah,
But it's like, it's like a caffeine feeling, like it gets you feeling sort of energized, but it's less like wiry.
All right, I should try it.
Yeah,
I've
recommend
been,
it.
I've been doing matcha.
yeah.
Also been
Yeah.
really into matcha.
Matcha, okay, but it's like $7 at
Yeah.
minimum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wherever,
That's how this
wherever
place is.
You go.
Yeah.
That half gallon was $30, and we finished one in a session.
Wow.
They're like $8
Yeah.
For just like one.
It's
Yeah.
not sustainable.
It's not.
Not really.
It's not.
But
We're really wealthy.
that's-
we're really wealthy, so
Wealthy
we
in
can
love.
afford it.
Yeah. But we're rich. His dad's a doctor.
Yeah,
I don't know if he told you.
he owns Kava Culture.
John, I was going to ask you this. I noticed your right ear is pierced. Are you homosexual?
I both.
Oh, you got
actually,
both. Okay,
yeah.
so-
But I'm still gay.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's still happening.
And
Do you actually have your right ear pierced, or is
I
that,
have both. Yeah.
or is that
Sometimes-
like the mirror? I like this.
No,
I was
you
fucking
were
around.
right. I was wearing the right one.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
Brennan made a reel. And he
yeah.
was talking to the camera, and his right ear was the earring, and I just like commented. I was like, Does that mean you're gay
mean
since you
you're
have
gay.
your right earring in?
Would it be so bad?
Yeah, yeah,
It'd be
you're right.
terrible.
Yeah, it'd be terrible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
his parents would kill him.
When did you choose
Wish.
to be a homosexual?
Well, I chose.
Yeah.
Because it is a choice.
What was it?
Actually, I was outed.
I was too.
Were you?
By my best friend at the time.
High
school.
It was by my mom's best friend. She like found out the information. I don't know that it was like. It prevented me from having to like go through the pain of like.
Yeah, it's
doing
kind
all
of a
that.
good thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
But I definitely felt violated.
yeah,
For
oh,
sure.
totally.
Like
Yeah.
my privacy was violated.
Did
Yeah.
you grow up in a more conservative home? What was
No.
like
Actually, I'm pretty fortunate. I have a very liberal upbringing. I have a gay brother who's younger than me.
Oh wow, yeah.
Who actually
you just
came out.
multiple siblings or this? The
I've
only
got two
brother?
younger brothers. The one that's closest to me in age is also gay.
Okay.
And he came out when he was like 13,
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
so pretty young. But growing up, it was pretty clear that he was gay.
Yeah, yeah.
What my struggle was with it was, I would see everybody make fun of him,
Yeah.
and that made me really scared to come out. So
Yeah,
it took me
yeah.
a little while to really come to terms with with being honest with people, and it's still to this day like just being honest about how I feel. I think is informed a lot by that
Yeah.
period of my life.
I've just gotten over like, some I've fully realized like and exercised, I guess, a lot of stuff out just from the South and growing up religious and just all that bullshit. So yeah, because I'm from Kentucky, a small town, so it was kind of rough for a little while, but I was always pretty popular. So it was like when I came out, my friends were like, "Yeah, Brennan, we know." It's like, fine.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, dude, I went to, so I was very fortunate. When I was 16, I moved out and went to the North Carolina School of the Arts, which is a very liberal school, and so that was a really safe
That
space.
helps. Yeah. Yeah.
How were your parents when it all came to the surface?
My mom called me, so she called me I think like immediately after her friend told her.
Yeah.
I was stoned. And I was like not ready.
Weirder
for the
shit happens
I
when
was
you're
yeah,
high.
I was not ready for that conversation.
Yeah.
But she calls me and she goes, "I have to ask you something." I was talking to Jan and, are you gay? And I said,
talking to Jan.
yeah, exactly. And I paused and I was like, well, if you're gonna fucking do it, now's the time to fucking
Yep.
do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, I'm gay. And there was just silence. And I hear her kind of like maybe crying on the other end, and she goes, "What did I do wrong?"
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh my!
They always think there's something wrong. My parents went to we went to therapy, like therapists,
no.
and I guess they were. Yeah, we've talked about it since. Like they were just doing what they thought they could do, and shout out to the therapy the therapists that we went to, because each of them, like, they would bring me in and then we bring them in and then we all talk together, and the therapists were like, "You're going to have a really bright future. You seem like a great kid. There's nothing wrong with you. Don't worry."
So did you grow up in the church?
Yeah. I
So-
was a pianist for my church, too.
Oh.
And I came out to my pastor, was the first person I told.
How
But
did he-
besides my best friend at the time.
How did
Yeah.
your pastor react?
Call the police.
There wasn't...
Get the fuck out.
Call the
He
police.
threw a Bible at you.
He was a young pastor at the time. He was probably 30 at the time when he came to our church, and is still there. And he's a lovely person. Like, he's a nice man. I don't have any problem with him. But I don't remember exactly, but it was just like, we opened the Bible and whatever, and he said whatever, he had to say. I didn't leave there feeling like it's going to be okay necessarily, but he wasn't like condemning at all. It was
Sure.
like, it was not bad. But he was like, "Yeah, you need to go tell your parents, and have a chat with them." And yeah, and then some years later, my mom was in a Sunday school class and had to walk out 'cause she was in tears because he brought up some kind of like anti-gay stuff.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what the fuck? That's not necessary, especially knowing that what I've been through and it's such a small church too. And I devoted.
They do that shit.
Yeah. I
They,
devoted.
like, subliminally try to like. It's fucking.
Oh, they'll like find the one mom with a gay child, and
Yes.
they'll point the conversation at
I
them.
devoted
100%.
Yeah.
6 years of my life to playing piano for free for the church every Sunday, Like, so I kind of was like, this is fucked up. I never really want to go back. When I go home, I'm like, nope, I'm not going to church. Enjoy. Have a good time, And it's like, they really just want me to go so that everybody can see me. And, I get it. But I'm like, I don't really care. They can come to the house if they want to see me. They can stop by.
Here's a question. Something that I think about a lot is I've abandoned the church because of all of this.
Yeah.
Not necessarily. I don't think I'm like. I'm still a spiritual person, or still think that there's community that something like this offers.
Sure. Yeah.
But it feels that it's weaponized in the church.
Oh, it is 100%.
100%.
And that's a no-go for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I posted a. Let's see. This is interesting. I posted. I'm deep in the rabbit hole of like being very. The only books that I really read or consume are like Sam Harris and like shit like that. Christian conservatives have been primed for dictatorship since childhood. It's so normalized for them to believe that being a good person comes from unquestioned obedience instead of morality, questioning, self-reflection, and educating yourself.
It's not wrong.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah.
Benny, question.
Yeah.
You as a straight man, how does this resonate with you? Like, what is hearing gay men talk about this sort of stuff? How does it resonate with you? Putting him on the spot, just
in
like
any
we're put on the
specific
spot
way,
every
or
day.
just like broadly?
Yeah, I think look. You can't really relate to the experience
Of
being gay.
He's done some really gay shit before, though. He gets drunk and tries to get me.
Yeah.
So Brennan and I have been best friends for like a long time.
Yeah.
Like
Going on 20
nearly
years
half
now.
my life.
Yeah.
And I'm close to a lot of gay people, and I have for the majority of my life. And also coming from the South, like one of my best friends in high school, he came out. I don't think I was the first person, but I was one of the first people when I was, I don't know, it was probably our senior year of high school or something, or somewhere around then. And obviously for me, it's like I have no feeling about it. Like
Gay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I don't my mind doesn't categorize things in that way. Like
Sure.
It's not how I think about things. But at the same time, like growing up in the South, like I very much am aware how people do feel about it and how people do. My stepbrother is gay. He came out also around the same time as my other friend, maybe a year or two
hot
after.
as fuck.
He's in a
Your stepbrother?
Yeah.
He's in a thruple down
Oh.
in San Diego.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty
As,
cool.
as of the last
Shout out
few years.
to polyamorous relationships.
I'm down for it. I'm into it.
I actually think like most people are. They
Yeah.
just like need to skirt around some.
Some people just lie about it.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it's also indoctrination that's prevented
Just
us to
infidelity.
open our minds to that. Like, hey, it's okay. Like, if you love your partner and you communicate with them, it's like, I'm that way with mine. Like, we're like, yeah, we had a threesome recently. Like, a friend of ours, he came over. Great.
I love
it's fun. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's like I have very much witnessed and, been an observer of the bigotry that does exist out there. And so I'm also very, conscious of that and sympathetic to that. But I also, it's just like we've had so many hilarious conversations over the years, just like hearing about Brennan's gay escapades.
Benny's so fascinated by it. Yeah, he loves
and,
it.
like-
All my straight friends are too. They're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I live vicariously through you.
yeah.
Well, talking about that sex party,
Yeah,
was
yeah.
hilarious. And like I've told Brennan about various of my
Oh yeah.
histories
Oh,
with
yeah.
with
Fun stuff.
girls and
Fun stuff.
and so yeah, it's I actually, we're also talking about this a bit earlier, like generally straight dudes or a lot of them just fucking suck. And I don't like, I have over the course of my life, I've had a lot of girl friends, like platonic friendships with girls. And I'm friends with a lot of gay people, and I'm also friends with a lot of straight dudes, but it's like your average.
What about bisexuals? Are you friends with any bisexuals?
I don't like bisexuals.
Okay.
Aaron's bi.
I'm totally
Let's make up your mind.
I'm totally kidding. I'm 100%.
Yeah. I think heteros are really, not to cut you off, but I was going to say heterosexual men are supercharged with this feeling that society puts on you to be masculine, to be a man, like what it means to be a man. Like people are afraid to be vulnerable, show emotion and all that stuff. And gay men typically aren't. You know, we're in touch with our emotional sides. We've had to go
okay,
through.
but this is a very Southern interpretation of the relationship. When I moved out here, I don't know if you felt this way, but I encountered a very different interaction between a gay man and a straight man.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And this is something that you just have to you just deal with in life, right? Yeah. People and men and women, I mean, straight men and women, they want to work with and they want to be around people who I think resemble them. Mm-hmm. And so I oftentimes am questioning whether or not somebody is getting hired or, somebody wants to work with somebody because, their life resembles their own lives,
Yeah.
And, it's something that you have to just, you can't control it, what have I can only, what have I been left out of because of this? Whereas in the South, it's very much like masculine.
Oh yeah.
It's a masculine confrontation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting, like these two different worlds, how navigating it as a gay man is different.
That's interesting. Yeah, that is interesting.
Because California is liberal. It's a very liberal place.
Yeah,
But there are biases that people don't even realize they're accessing.
Totally. Yeah, it's that's an interesting point. Yeah, it's, and I don't know. I mean, I am fairly in touch with like my inner feminine and like my vulnerable, emotional sort of side, and I feel like I don't really click with dudes that don't have some of that.
So Andrew Tate's not your friend, is what you're saying.
Oh God, he's insufferable.
I kind of like that he exists just so we know that he's terrible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like, this is a great example of what not to be.
It's, I mean, I hope all the young guys that like follow him eventually grow out of that, because it's just really sad to watch. Because I mean, his main audience is like teenage boys.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
I get some weird shit on Instagram.
Yeah,
But I come across these, they can't be older than 12 years old.
Yeah.
These boys being like, this person's working in 9 to 5. This person's working in 9 to 5. And you're like, he's like, I'm out there working on my businesses. And I'm like, bro, you were 12 years
Shut
old.
the fuck up.
What do you know?
Yeah, like, go play with some G.I. Joes.
Yeah, go be a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much cringy shit like that on.
I love cringe. We
I
love cringe.
love
We've got a cringe thread. We just toss videos back and forth. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Do you guys follow like Cringe Moist or anything like
Yeah.
those?
Oh, Cringe
Okay.
Moist
I'm
is
sure
great.
I've seen
Yeah.
it.
Cringe
Yeah.
Moist is great.
Love that shit.
Yeah. People getting mad.
People
is
getting
good.
mad, kids getting hurt.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Love all of those kinds of channels. Get
Yeah.
a kick out of them.
Do you have like I guess in like the last 2 years, how much more like Facebook, Instagram has become?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you still have a Facebook?
I do, but I rarely
Yeah.
check it.
The only reason why I still have it is two reasons. One is because I have a music page that has a significant amount of followers on it, so it's nice to just have
shout
that.
out.
Yeah, I don't want to brag, but
Brennan's audience is the Voice watcher,
Yeah.
like middle of America, like
Yeah.
they're
So
the-
Facebook.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
But Facebook, since we've had this whole, shift in our politics and stuff, it just recommends the most right-wing shit now.
I love.
Like, it's really insane. Yeah.
Or it's
So-
like, look at this image of a baby being carried by a crocodile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so nuts. I wish I could turn it off. And then the second reason is, that's how all of the people that I ever went to high school with or grew up with are on there, and maybe not on Instagram. So it's
Sure.
like, not that I really care, but it's like turning that off is kind of like, well, I'll maybe never see them again.
Yeah.
Which is
Would it be so bad?
yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely Boomerville.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
and Instagram definitely morphing into that.
Oh, dude, I'm getting things that are it's crazy. First of all, the ads are insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'm scrolling and I'm coming across like it'll be like a meme that's like, study finds that, sleeping with clean sheets will leads to dementia. And I'm like, this isn't true.
Yeah.
This is like this is just bullshit.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
just clickbait.
Zuckerberg
What's going
is
on?
such a cuck fucking bitch.
Zuck is a cuck. Zuck is
Yeah.
a fucking cuck.
Okay, but what do we do? Do we just
Fucking
delete?
hate him.
Do we just delete these things?
Well, yeah, I mean,
It would
that
be
is-
nice, wouldn't
It
it?
would be nice.
Because I just like YouTube, really. I love YouTube. I'm obsessed.
Right.
I watch YouTube daily.
Yeah, I do love some.
Are you guys
YouTube.
watching David Muir on YouTube?
I like David Muir. Yeah. ABC?
ABC,
news anchor?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, uh-uh.
I don't.
It's like my news source.
yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
I'm sure I've
I
seen it.
watch.
And it's
well,
I love how formulaic it is.
Yeah.
It's like bad news, bad news, bad news. And you know what? Here's
Yeah.
some good news.
I
Gotta balance it a little bit.
up until the election, once that all happened, I got on antidepressants, which I fucking love.
Wait, what can I ask which pills you're
I'm on
on?
Lexapro.
We're Lexapro
Alright.
gang.
Oh, you're both on Lexapro?
Yeah, we love it. Yeah,
As I got on it like last May.
yeah.
You just got on it.
Just got on it and just had like a full I had like a week of like basically mania that was like I enjoyed it because I love being high, but like that's definitely like sort of like woo whoa. Like when I was here when I was going through it, Benny was like, "Yeah, I've never seen Brennan happier," and I was like, "I'm high
good
as
for
fuck
you.
right now," but it's subsided since then. But
my mom's a big pill woman, so
Yeah.
like I'm not that I'm against it. It's like I will probably do every option that I possibly can
Yeah.
before getting on antidepressants.
Yeah.
oh, ketamine's
That's
great.
where I was, but then it hit a point where I was like, okay, it's
Yeah.
time.
Yeah,
Good.
It's time.
but I shut off all. I was a news junkie, politics junkie, like David Pacman. I watch Secular Talk. I watch like Kyle Kalinske, all the independent journalists on YouTube that are progressive and stuff. And I had to shut it off. I don't watch any news anymore.
Good for you.
I just know that a plane flipped over the other day. That's about it.
And everyone survived.
Yeah,
That
that was
is
awesome.
the crazy part.
Yeah.
Did you see
Like-
that? Did you see the crash?
Yeah,
I saw
didn't
one
see the
video
crash.
of a dude like getting out of the plane filming. Did you guys see that?
I saw that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
No,
lady was like, "No phones. Put your phone away."
Yeah.
You're like, shut the
Shut
fuck
the fuck up.
No,
Yeah.
a video of the plane landing dropped.
Yeah, I
today.
did see that. I
Really?
did see
And you
that.
see the thing flipping, and you're like,
Yeah.
"There's no way." And they all, yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, I don't know what's up with all this.
That's
fucking
why they tell you to
plane
put
shit.
the seatbelt on. Yeah.
They're primarily domestic flights. You're noticing. I mean, not that to Toronto feels domestic-ish. Of
Yeah,
course, I
yeah.
understand it's international,
Close enough.
but
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
it was a commuter.
Might as well
plane.
be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was was it a Bombardier that flipped?
What, is what it's
Yeah,
called?
Bombardier.
Yeah.
Manufacturer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Boeing's not had a great couple of years either.
Yeah,
It's
I
just-
bought myself some Boeing stock. I was like, it can only go up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Hopefully, they
Yeah.
keep going.
When it's down, it's time
Yeah.
to buy.
Yeah. I just got a stock guy myself. I've been doing that Acorns app for years.
All right.
It's just, you put your spare change in there and then I put a weekly amount in there and they just invest it for you. But now I got a guy.
Oh, good. Good for you.
Got a
Got a money guy.
My dad had 28% returns last year.
Yeah, that
Nice.
was
So-
that was about
Yeah.
what
Good.
the markets were.
So he
Yeah.
saw my portfolio. He's like, "Oh yeah, you need to get my guy. Like your returns suck."
I love when a dad is like, I got a guy.
Yeah.
That's what dads are for.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
plugs. Yeah, people just be getting too mad.
Too mad.
Like, unless like people deserve it. Like, fuck Kanye.
Fuck Kanye. Fuck Trump.
Kanye.
Fuck
I
them all.
fucking hate that
Fuck
dude.
Kid Rock.
Fuck Kid Rock. Why are you calling yourself Kid?
He's such
You're
a
like 60.
No, Kid Rock, that's a faggot right there. He's a faggot. Yeah. Kid Rock is
Yeah.
a faggot.
Kid Rock?
No.
Yeah.
You like Kid Rock?
Oh,
I
made
Nah. Did you make that
The
rocket?
shuttle?
I just finished the Titanic.
Oh, I think I saw
dope.
that.
Lego
Yeah, that's
Titanic?
great. That's huge.
It took me like a year to like
Wow.
finish it all.
I love Legos. Have my whole life. Have my whole life.
They've been a good distraction.
Yeah. What did you think of the
Halftime
show?
I'm gonna speak from a technical standpoint here.
Yeah.
And by the way, I do think that I would mix that show really well.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
I'm putting that out there in the
Yeah,
universe.
NFL. Fucking-
NFL. If you need
If
somebody
you want to
mix the
have a good
halftime
show, which you need help with.
I got you. Not help to do it.
Yeah.
You can pay me.
Yeah.
It'll be good.
Yeah, no, higher. Let's be clear.
I think that I could have heard the vocals a lot more.
Yeah.
I think that
Did
just
you think
balance-wise-
SZA was singing? Or
I
do you
hope,
think
I
that was a
hope, I hope
pre-record?
I hope everyone was lip syncing just for ease.
Yeah.
I mean, this whole like
I think Kendrick was performing.
he probably was. Although I'll get honest with you, I have no objections with lip syncing.
Mm-hmm.
There is none in my mind, nothing in my mind that says you've got to sing live. What are we proving? I want a
think
good
it
show.
depends on the event.
And the artist.
Yeah.
But
And what it is.
And what it is. But I in general, I want to see a good show.
Yeah.
And if lip syncing accomplishes that better than singing live,
Like if
Lip sync.
I'm okay with like Chris Brown up there dancing his fucking ass off and lip syncing, that would be fine to me. Because the point is not necessarily the singing. The point is
the show.
the fucking dance and doing all of that. But otherwise, like if you're like a singer and that's the show, like I think you should be performing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Joni Mitchell, she can sing.
Yeah.
Right?
She's just gonna sit in a chair.
You're going there for her to be a storyteller.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Liz Phair, want her to sing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
By the way, love Liz Phair.
I'm not
don't-
really
I'm not-
familiar with
I
the
don't know
calendar
enough.
that much.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
That's-
Okay, I'm
Deeper
gonna add it
dive.
to my Spotify right now.
She's like everything.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I thought that I gave it a 6 out of 10, the halftime show. I didn't think it was bad, but I did not think it was amazing. I think there could have been a lot more done with it. Like, I am a big believer. One of your main jobs as a musician, as a performer, you have to play and know the room. That's a big indicator for me. That's a sign of a great musician is to know how to do that. Like if you're playing in a lounge, playing that room. If you're playing the halftime show, playing that room.
Okay, so question then: what is? Says to me, the halftime show is primarily playing for an at-home audience.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
My number one gripe with that being said, like 2 hits out of like 10 songs.
Right.
Play the hits.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
where you play the hits.
I mean, he
Certainly.
definitely made a big statement though. Like it was the narrative was like pretty.
I get that,
Yeah.
but I'm also like the protest is almost becoming a cliche at this point.
Yeah.
Like it's like
Yeah.
it ain't nothing's happening. We're
I mean,
all aware
right time
of this
for it though
message.
with the Trump stuff. You
For
know?
sure. No,
Yeah.
I get that. But like
they not like us. You know.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Truly.
So that was like one of my main issue was like, and he has more hits
Yeah.
that he just
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah.
play.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you got like no All Right, no swimming pools, like, like that was my main issue. Actually, that was probably like the 90% of my
Your gripe.
issue was like that. It was too art piece, and I love art.
Yeah.
Is-
I love art.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait. Who was the year before?
was it Rihanna last
Was
year?
it J Lo and Shakira?
No, it was Usher last year.
Oh,
Oh, it was
what did
Usher
you
last
what did you
year.
think of that?
I
He
forget
could-
honestly, so maybe that says
I would suck his dick on live television. Yeah.
He was on roller skates for a part of it.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm a pretty good roller skater.
You
yeah,
are.
me too.
I'm going skating tonight actually.
Really?
Oh, nice. Where do you go?
Just go over here at
I like to rollerblade.
whatchamacallit.
I'm not good at skate like
the quads.
inline.
Yeah,
like
inline
quads,
skating.
yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah. go backwards.
So you can do all that shit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a friend Milo who we both kind of started like lessons at the same time.
Yeah.
He's like surpassed me, but
Yeah. I like to ice skate too. You
Oh,
can
right.
ice
Are you
skate.
good at ice skating?
Yeah.
Interesting. Did you grow up doing it?
No, but I used to pretend that I was a figure skater
Oh,
in my
that-
garage
yeah. How could I forget?
on rollerblades. Yeah.
right. There you
Good
go.
practice.
Yeah.
Ice
Not-
skating's hard.
Very not gay.
Very
Yeah.
yeah. Skating is not gay.
Yeah. It's not gay at all.
Just FYI.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very masculine. Andrew Tate skates,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and he skates hard.
Speaking
Yeah.
of gay, top, bottom, reverse.
Verse.
Yeah, same.
You know,
Started out as a bottom,
Very non-committal with that. I
Yeah.
kind of like it all.
Yeah.
Depending just on the moment.
Yeah.
Depends on the moment.
Benny would
Yeah.
be a top if he were gay. Definitely.
Is that right?
Yeah, I don't think he would
Probably.
I don't think he would like
Oh,
butt
well.
stuff. Yeah.
I would like
Just knowing
putting
you.
it in the butt.
Yeah. I think he would be a top. Yeah.
I wouldn't want
Yeah.
it in the butt.
I was just bottom for like years.
All right.
And now I'm a real boy. I'm a
You're
man.
you've transitioned.
I've transitioned. Yeah.
I remember like I don't know, a while ago, like I met a guy and I could tell like he's a super attractive guy.
Yeah.
But I could tell that he was having a hard time getting men as a bottom. Mm-hmm. And so he'd pitch himself as a top, and then when you would get into the sexual situation, he'd be like, "Okay, I'm more of a bottom." And I find that so dishonest.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
It's such a catfish to do
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah. See, I've never would have. This is an example of what you're talking about. I would have never thought about that without hanging out.
Like, okay,
Two
so
gay men.
so yeah, but like, you know, like there is like transactional sex in the gay community.
Absolutely.
That
All
just it just
communities.
is.
Yeah.
And
But more so in the
I would say that it's more open
yeah.
in
Yeah.
the gay community, or
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
more widely accepted that it's happening.
Yeah.
And if in that transaction, like that transaction is just like any other transaction, you can be duped, right? You know, you can be scammed. So I would say like not you have to like fish through 90% of the transactions, or you know the potential transactions, to get one that's like maybe a bit honest. You run into this like a lot. Yeah, like I'm this, but then you show up and there's something different. Whether
Do you
it's-
think there's more dishonesty than honesty?
I think that there is, more dishonesty than honesty.
Oh,
I think there's,
interesting.
and I wouldn't classify it necessarily as dishonesty, but like avoidant of the truth,
Interesting. Omission?
omission. Like sometimes, and I talked to some of my gay friends about this too. They'll be talking to like a couple, and they'll be talking to the more attractive person in that couple.
Yeah.
And then they'll get there, and the more attractive person either won't be there, or they won't be involved, and they'll be like the older or the less attractive person.
No way. Game
yeah, like,
over.
come on, that's but you must experience that.
Yeah, I've you name it. I've had
All
some
in-
fucking.
Everything under the sun.
I've had some.
Brennan
fucking
has a story.
Stories. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's something that gay men deal with.
Yeah.
Well, certain gay men. I don't know that all gay men deal
Yeah.
with it. I think some gay men are. Like,
have you ever been an app guy? You hook up, you
Yeah,
use
of course.
Grindr
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff.
I'm not on it right now, but
Yeah.
definitely, yeah.
Field is one I wanted to try, where
Interesting.
you can like hook up with couples and stuff.
I think.
Oh, is that like designed for couples?
Yeah, it's for
No,
for
no,
polyamory.
It's
yeah.
but it's
yeah.
I've heard that it's very hit or miss.
Yeah,
and
oh,
with
yeah.
emphasis on the miss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sniffies is another one that I'm like.
Sniffy.
Wait, hold on. Did you remember when Sniffies first came out, and what's her name? Freckle.
I'm
You guys
not
know this
familiar.
Freckle was on that show, The Gay and Wondrous Life of Caleb Gallo, and she was the one who was like nip slip. Nobody.
I don't think
Not
so.
familiar.
All right. Anyway, she looked like Big Ange in the first ad of. It was like she's gender fluid with with her hair slicked back. It's very Big Ange. Somebody should look this up.
Yeah.
At some
Yeah.
point, or look up Freckle. I mean, Freckle's just a character in and of themselves.
Sniffies is not an app. It's just accessed on a web page only.
Is that right?
Yeah, I don't think there's an app for it. and you can upload
for the
a
boomers.
picture, and it's just a GPS sort of like you tap on an icon of somebody, and it's just Sniffies is like Grindr. Sometimes you meet, and I've met guys on Grindr before, and like not hooked up, and we'll go on a date or something. That can happen too. But Sniffies is like, we're fucking right now.
Yeah, it's like
Sniffies is where
yeah.
you want to go sniff some butts.
Yeah,
But it's also like you're not going to see a face.
yeah.
Until you show
They'll
up.
have the dick or
Oh,
the
I see.
torso.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Which I'm never about.
I gotta see the face.
I gotta see the face.
In fact, now the rule is, and I don't really hook up with apps as much anymore. Like occasionally I might. It's happened not that often anymore, but because I'd really like to go out and then come back home. You know, have a drink first or have dinner or whatever.
Some proper foreplay.
Yeah, but I have if they are just going to come over and it's a stranger, my rule is FaceTime first.
All right. Prove that you are or send a video or something like that. That proves. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That makes
unless I
sense.
can clearly see like all the photos. Like, okay, yeah, all right,
Sure.
But yeah, I've been catfished before. One time I got catfished in Memphis, and the guy pulled up in like literally it was like an Astro van, like a white Astro van, no windows, and was like, I'm here. And then I looked out my window, and it was like somebody on the phone, like looking, probably 300-pound, like 5'7", like Mexican dude. And I was like, absolutely not.
You let him in.
No, I was like, I shut the door, I locked the door, shut off my phone. I was living with Claire at the time. I was like, Claire, there's someone outside, and
It's happening.
You have to leave. Yeah.
Well, that's like it's like being vulnerable and then somebody exploiting that.
Yeah.
And
for sure.
and it's very unsafe. You just
Very
feel
unsafe.
feel very unsafe.
Yeah.
That's a fair reaction.
Yeah.
I've definitely been like rolled up and been like, this is not happening.
Yeah.
Or been like, you need to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, if somebody smells funny to me,
Oh yeah.
it's like a serious no-go.
Yeah.
Or bad
No,
breath.
Bad
smells,
breath.
no
Yeah,
go.
exactly.
Yeah.
LOL.
No go on the bad smell.
I've
Totally.
had my fair share. Yeah.
That portion of the gay experiences should be more studied, I think, and more
research will come
I
out
used to be
in
into
time.
I used to be into the DL thing too, like a little bit, like back in the day. I was like a long time ago. I also
thank you.
I also like I have a liking to brown people more so.
Friend's a melanin guy.
Yeah,
right,
I'm a
okay.
melanin guy.
Melanated.
So yeah, like living in Memphis, like there's so many like DL people, and now I'm like, no, like ugh, like yeah.
What does DL mean?
Down
low.
Like,
Yeah.
But that's
Don't-
also
not gay, but gay.
Well, they're very gay,
But like not.
but not out. Like,
I
be
used to
married
hook
or,
up-
or with having been in relationships or have kids.
I
Yeah.
had this coke dealer that I used to hang out with in Memphis years and years ago, and he was so hot. Like he was like not like you would probably see a picture and be like, okay, he's not that hot, but he was like tall, skinny,
Big
lean,
wiener.
like huge wiener, and he was straight. He had like a wife and everything, I think, or a girlfriend or whatever. But he would like hang out because he was just like lonely, like
Is this the dude that would be like
Alright.
all of the shows, or I'm thinking of
he
a
didn't.
different guy.
He I don't think he ever came to my shows, but this is post Rock Source Rex. But
This is in the South.
yeah.
The South breeds like some sort of like odd characters.
Yeah.
That I keep hearing a noise, by the way.
It's my phone.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I just want to make sure it wasn't like a
Good
metronome.
ear.
It breeds some like fucked up weird like
Oh yeah.
some people have some weird fetishes.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
what the fuck is going on here?
100%.
He used to come and hang out, and like we would just like do blow, and then like he would just like, can I hang out at your house with you, like or whatever. And then one night he was like on the couch, and he was like, yo, and I was like waiting. I was like, oh my god, it's happening. And he let me suck his dick.
Oh, good for you.
And we did it like several times, like in a period of time or whatever. And I tried it so hard to get him to fuck me, and he would never do it. But yeah,
See, something like that never
yeah,
appealed to me. I just it's
yeah.
not.
It doesn't anymore.
It's
Yeah,
like it like It's not worth
The ultimate chase.
Yeah.
The chase is
yeah.
not worth it. It's just
Yeah.
not.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't care.
He had the most beautiful penis, though. Oh my god.
Oh, good for him. What's he up to now?
I think he's probably in jail.
Mormon.
He's Mormon.
Has
One or the other.
He has 7
Oh
children.
my god.
no in between.
Yeah, it was hot. I can't even remember his name. That's sad. Like we hung out a lot. I like went through but I deleted his number because I like went to rehab and stuff.
You went to
like,
rehab?
Yeah, I went to like outpatient rehab. I used to be a meth addict.
Oh,
yeah.
period.
So, yeah,
What was that
period.
like?
Meth. I mean, it's awful. It's like the worst come down you'll ever experience. I was strung out on it for about a good 2 years. It was over a 3-year period, but like I had a little break because I worked on a cruise ship for a while, so like I didn't have access to it there. But it feels pretty fucking good when you first get high, and then when you're hooked on it, it's like the worst brain altering, like fucking awful.
Oh, it seems so dark.
It's awful. It's the darkest thing. Like I love drugs, but like hard drugs, coke, meth, stuff like that is not it. Yeah.
And can we even like? I mean, I haven't done coke in a minute.
Yeah.
Ketamine is usually what I'm.
Woo!
If I'm
loves
doing drugs,
ketamine.
I'll do ketamine. But
Love.
I don't know that I've had like really good coke
Yeah.
in
No.
a long time, so it's
awful.
not worth doing.
Awful. It's awful. It's always cut with something. Yeah.
Wait, here. I really think that it should be legal.
Absolutely.
Let's let it be
I think
legal.
most drugs should be legal.
Maybe Trump will make that a thing.
Oh, that would be great. Probably not with the evangelicals, but yeah.
He can't run again, or can he?
That's
You're
what
right.
I've been wondering.
Yeah.
I'm like, is this dude gonna like try to like? Yeah.
And
totally see.
if he's gonna do something like that, it's gonna be he's gonna say it's not gonna be I'm running again. It's there's no need for another election.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think it'll be a.
Calling that here. Remember this moment.
Yeah, remember this moment.
4 years from now.
But the legalization of drugs, I think, is absolutely necessary. I mean, we would prevent so many deaths. You could pour all of the money that you pay to arrest people and incarcerate people for decisions that they ultimately are just making for their own lives, could go into harm prevention centers, treatment, for people that go a little bit too far, because I do believe that you can use drugs responsibly. And
I think I'm an example of somebody who
I
uses,
think so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it every night. It's
Yeah.
like a very.
Yeah.
I don't
absolutely.
even drink that much. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here lately I've hit the ketamine a little bit too often than
LOL.
is good. But I do I do take steps back sometimes and be like re-examine, like, okay,
Right.
Reevaluate life.
Now we'll say this: I went to Berlin over the summer.
Ooh, fun.
I've heard
Now
great
haven't
things.
been.
that was the most drugs I've ever done.
Yeah.
Just in like a single period.
Yeah, yeah.
It was, and they're so cheap there. I was like, do I need to like buy some?
Mm-hmm.
No, people just have them and they just pass them out.
Pass them out.
Crazy.
You just go to a bathroom stall and people were like, "Do you want anything?" And you're like, "Sure."
Oh, love it.
And you're snorting
valued.
You're snorting ketamine, methadone,
Mm-hmm.
and MDMA
Oh, what a lovely combo.
What a lovely combo.
Ketamine,
Oh, that's all together.
all together.
Okay.
ketamine and Molly.
It's pretty good.
Chef's kiss.
Yeah.
So good. Right as you're coming up to the peak or coming right down the mountain of Molly, take a bump of K.
Yeah,
Bing!
he knows. He knows.
Bing! Oh, yeah. So great. Yeah.
And how does this apply into our work lives? So.
Well, we're
luckily-
artists.
Yeah. Luckily, it's essential for the work-life balance.
Yeah, it's actually pretty great. My latest song that's about to come out is about K-holes.
Ah,
yeah.
love.
Yeah.
It's the ecosystem.
Yeah.
It
Just
feeds
fuel-
itself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
No, when I'm on like a show, I can't like I'm clean. Like I don't
Yeah,
drink. I don't
yeah.
do like I can't like I'm very focused on like
Sure.
I'm a man who's like if I've been hired to do something like I'm gonna be like pure.
Work
Yeah.
hard, play hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, when I have like a nice weekend, for sure I'll have fun.
Yeah.
We should hang out sometime.
Oh, yeah. Wait, what?
Absolutely.
Hundo.
The summer is coming up.
Great.
It is
Can't
true.
wait. I got to get my ass in the gym.
I'd be going over here to this gym over here.
Oh, this one in Atwater?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Every day.
They shut down the steam room at Crunch in West Hollywood where I go.
I just read.
Yeah. Permanently. Because people will be having sex in there. Yeah.
Come on, that's like, come on.
amazing.
Can we?
That's too hot.
Yeah, I know. It's
That does not
weird.
sound.
Didn't there used to be sex
desirable.
clubs in LA? Like,
Yeah. Well,
what,
I mean,
did they all close though during the pandemic?
there's still bathhouses and stuff. I've never been to a bathhouse, but I would be sort of interested maybe in going, but I don't know.
Yeah,
Thanks for that.
steam rooms. That's a little hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That
not for
doesn't
me.
sound-
Yeah.
Not for me.
Yeah. Yeah, they
Not for
permanently
me.
closed that bitch. So, yeah.
Okay, well, to rewind a little bit, because we haven't talked about this at all yet.
We've been darting all over the place.
That's what we do, though.
Yeah.
How? Because you said you went to art school,
Yes,
and then so how did you? Because you did. Were you a bass player?
I played double bass. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I remember. So how did you get from there to now recording and mixing film scores?
It's a great question. So it was a conservatory, conservatory style space. And I went there when I was 16. I moved out. I played bass. I'd been playing bass for a while before that, and then I was there for 2 years of high school and 2 years of college. And after my sophomore year of college, I kind of looked around at the people that were coming out of that school. Not everybody, but being a bass player, you're tethered to this massive instrument.
Mm-hmm.
If I was gonna ever leave the region, I needed to really need to play this thing every day, trap myself in a studio, and even then, it's all based on opportunity and luck.
Mm-hmm.
I just had a hard time seeing a path to the life I wanted. Playing bass.
What was the path? What was?
Well, I just I wanted the life where I could travel and I could own I could own a home and have something in this world.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, this probably isn't what I'm gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to LMU for I repeated my sophomore year. So I went to LMU, which is Loyola Marymount, and I got my degrees in recording and music. So I got 2 degrees. And then while I was there, I just got as much experience as possible. I graduated in 2010 during the peak of the financial crisis.
Mm-hmm.
So I just kind of I freelanced. I don't know how the fuck I survived, but I did. I just made ends meet every month. I did random gigs, live sound, production sound, mixing, whatever. I eventually got a internship through an old professor at John Powell's studio. And John, if you guys don't know John Powell, he is a film composer. He did a lot of the Paul Greengrass movies. He did Shrek. How to Train Your Dragon is the one he was nominated for. He's nominated now for Wicked.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Him and Stephen Price.
Okay.
But he did all the score for that.
Nice.
I think he did all the orchestral stuff as well. So I got an internship working with him, and I worked for him for about 6 months, and then I went. Then he went on hiatus. So I was like, "Fuck." And so I took off for about 3 months, and then I finally got a job working at Remote Control Productions for a guy named Haytor.
And that's Hans's company, right?
It's Hans's company. So, but Haytor's company, he's just rented a room at Hans's.
Mm.
And working with Haytor was really tough for me, and I had decided that I was going to not work for Haytor anymore. Mm-hmm. And so I tried to quit, and then I didn't quit, and then I kind of left somewhat dramatically, which I'm not a person to want to burn a bridge.
Yeah.
But but it was it was a really bad situation.
This one was
for me.
necessary.
Yeah. And since
Good
then
outburst.
Yeah, it was since then he and I have mended our relationship, but I think
Sign of maturity.
yeah, but it was really tough for me. And so when I quit that, I was like, if this is what it is, I don't want to do this.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'll figure something else out. I was already poor. I had nothing. I was paying $700 a month in rent, living real cheap.
Mm-hmm.
But then, 2 months later, I got a call from a friend who was at who worked directly for remote control.
Mm-hmm.
They were looking for another assistant engineer, and so I applied and I got an interview, and fortunately they hired me.
Nice.
And
What year was this?
This maybe like the end of 2011, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's right. Yeah. So yeah, I started my first movie there was a movie called Rush.
Yeah, what movie is
This was like it was a Ron Howard film about Niki Lauda, who's a F1
okay.
race car driver.
Yeah.
And by first project, I mean like I was like the second assistant, observing, saying really dumb shit in the back of the room.
Just got to learn about jumping in there.
Yeah, you don't jump in there. So, but interesting. So for that movie, Hans wasn't going to record anything, like no orchestra. He wanted to do he wanted to have sequencers, and then maybe we did record orchestra. Sequencers, and then we did like drums, right? We did like band, like a band. So we had 2 Pro Tools rigs sunk up with a Logic rig and a Cubase rig, all going through a System 5, which is System 5 is it's like a MADI format, multi-format, or sorry, large format console. So you have there's a lot of external gear that comes with it, inputs and outputs. It's all MADI inputs and outputs. And to accomplish that, the assistant at the time and the engineer had rewired the studio essentially to just accommodate this. So at the end of that project, they're all done. I go home, it's like, I'm like, oh fuck, that was really terrifying, 2 months of my life. What the fuck have I gotten myself into? How am I going to know any of this? And then I want to say at 11:30 at night, I got a call from the studio manager, and she was like, "Oh, listen, babe. So Hans wants Alan to mix some of the score for Man of Steel in Studio A. Can that be ready for him tomorrow morning?" And I was like, "Sure, I guess." So this entailed me moving all of Alan Meyerson's stuff from his room in another building into Hans's building so that he could mix. Now, I had been at remote for 3 months at that point. They had rewired the room. It was not put back. And I needed to take Alan's rigs, move them over with his speakers and everything, and get it ready for him to mix a film score overnight. That was it was the most chaotic and terrifying things. I remember being there at 1 a.m. just starting, and just looking through the S5 manual. This is System 5, and I remember this guy named Chuck coming in, and I'm trembling. I don't know. I literally have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. I kid you not. And him just patting me on the back and being like, "It's gonna be fine," and walking away.
Crazy.
And I spent that entire night moving Alan's stuff over, because that was most important, but then trying to rewire the room. Now, did I get it right? No. But it actually taught me so much about how that shit worked. That within those, it was a 3-day period that I went from not knowing anything to knowing that room like the back of my hand. Right? So that little window cemented my ability to do something. And it was not taught to me. I was just thrown into it. So that was a big moment in my career.
Yeah.
Wow.
But then so then I like hustled there for a long time. I was there for 6 years. I assisted Alan Meyerson, and then at like my second year mark being there, not even that long, like my 6-month mark being there, I was like, okay, like if I need to like also make extra money.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a gig working with a guy named Chris Fogel, who had a studio over here, and his clientele are Ludwig Göransson,
Mm-hmm.
Teddy Shapiro. He works some with Ramin, Henry Jackman.
Mm-hmm.
So I would moonlight for him. So I worked for Alan and Hans during the day, And then at night I would go and work for this other guy, Chris, and like set up sessions for him. And I did that for like 4 years. And all the while I was like making friends with assistants and telling people like, hey, give me an opportunity. Let me mix this, let me mix that. Until eventually it got to a point where they being Remote Control and Hans, opened up a company called Bleeding Fingers. And they hired a bunch of those assistants. And they started getting their own projects. And they requested that I be the mixer on them, right? And so I kind of got my start through that venue of being a scoring mixer. And then from there, I got The Simpsons, and I just got more and more stuff. And up to the point where I was like being in front of people. And so people would, they'd talk about it and they would reach out to me directly, and I was able to develop a clientele from kind of that trajectory. I hope that was a clear, clear painting.
It's crazy.
So cool.
Like, I've heard so many similar stories in the sense of like this town. It's like people start at the assistant position,
Bottom of the barrel.
and like that. This is including like Vanessa's circle, like agents, managers, execs, obviously creatives, starting all meeting each other as assistants. And if you like the people that stick around, they eventually get better and better jobs, and then end up being the people like running stuff and like making the decisions and things. It's wild.
It is. Well, there's some really distinct moments. That one where I had to set up the studio, that was a very like distinct moment, like that defined my abilities. But there was also a distinct moment about like year 2 or year 3 where I was working like 14, 15 hours a day every day.
Yeah.
There was no days off.
Yeah.
And you get to thinking that this is it. This is a life that this is all I'm going to have in life. I'm never going to be the top dog. I'm never going to make enough money. I'm never going to work on the projects in a way that I feel I should work on them. And there was an engineer who was hired after me, who was a bit older than me, and that was kind of his attitude of like, yeah, this is it. It's never gonna happen for you. It's never gonna happen for me. It's never gonna happen for you. And I remember
Toxic.
that. It's just defeatist.
Yeah.
I recognized that was not the attitude to have.
Yeah.
If I was gonna actually do something.
Yeah.
And I remember like there was a conscious decision like after like months of depression and being like, fuck, what the fuck have I done with my life? I'd be like, no, I am the guy to do this. I am the best one to do this.
Yeah.
This is not it for me. This is just a stepping stone. And you just wake up every day and you tell yourself that, and you look for opportunities and you dress appropriately and you present yourself in a certain way until it just catches, and it doesn't catch overnight. It takes
years.
I'm still fucking grinding.
Yeah, it's an endless journey.
I'm always like, how can I be better? What can I do? How what is this? How can I enhance my process?
Right. Yeah.
But it took a long time.
Yeah, I think when and I can speak for myself because we all have been on our journeys. The spots where I got complacent, created problems later. It's like you can't ever become complacent, because that's gonna cause issues at some point down the road. Like
Definitely.
You gotta stay on that forward motion, sort of searching quest.
Totally.
Otherwise, it can get really problematic.
Yeah. Now, I will say, like, I had just hustled, that it has made downtime for me really difficult. I'm a lot better at it now. Like, if there's no gigs happening, like it's just, I'm sure it's like it's very stressful. It's almost more stressful when there's
I love to relax.
100%.
Yeah, it's hard to
I love
relax.
it. Yeah.
No, it's true. I totally know the feeling. Yeah, I mean, it's like you get used to a certain routine, and when that's not the case, and especially when when your livelihood is interspersed in that equation, it's like that can definitely cause all sorts of stress and concern and questions, but it is very important.
Totally.
A balance is for longevity. I think is a really necessary thing
Rest.
to sort of sort
Oh,
out.
you can't survive unless you be okay with the downtime.
Yeah.
Like mentally, you'd snap.
And it's you be grateful for it too, because it doesn't always stay that way. And it's
Yeah.
like when you are then in the real weeds of shit, it's like, fuck, I just like want a day off.
Resting is
or
better
whatever.
for your brain, your skin, your physical health, your body to stay slim.
Yeah, 100%.
It's great.
So then, on that note, what's on the horizon? Like, what should people know about?
What's coming up? The Simpsons is still coming up. There's this really great video game that I've worked on with a composer named Geoff Zanelli.
Have you done other video games in the past?
I did a video game called Redfall, and then when I was working with Alan, we did like Halo.
Oh, nice.
Halo 5. And then also like other games, like with composer Lauren Balfe, like back when I was an assistant, he did a bunch of other games that I worked on. But this game, it's a Star Citizen. It's a huge orchestral score. It's an enormous amount of music.
Nice.
It's going to come out in like 2026.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what they're aiming for.
Cool.
What else? There's a movie called G20 that's coming out. I don't want to jinx anything that I haven't worked on yet.
Yeah.
So
Circle back to that.
yeah, we can circle back to that question. It's been it's been a trying year. It's been a slow year for a lot of people, including myself.
Yeah.
And I tried
Still
to stay
early.
busy. Yeah,
So there's a lot of year left.
a lot of year left. There's this new show with Joshua Clevey that just came out, the Manhunt of
Nice.
Osama bin Laden.
Saw him post about that. Can't wait. Love the
It
documentary.
should be good. He's such a talented composer.
He is. I love Josh's music.
Yeah.
I love just his sensibilities
Yeah.
and instincts and melody choices. Yeah. Amazing human, amazing musician. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
Did you work on this? I don't know if it's allowed to be talked about, or I played some drums on it. This documentary about the TV show.
Oh, we haven't started that.
Okay, but you are.
I hope so. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I would assume.
I would assume so as
Yeah.
well. But yes, I'm excited for that one. When it
Nice.
comes out. Well,
Yeah,
to
it's
be
dope.
revealed.
Yeah.
To be revealed.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's the back half of this year is looking pretty full.
Nice.
Which I'm stoked for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be here before we know it. So.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Awesome. Well, John.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you
for coming
guys.
on.
I appreciate it.
Oh, loved having you.
I love being here.
We got some good.
Got some good wiener talk.
Yeah. It's an
Yeah.
essential part of this
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, John.
Thank you guys.
John.
Ben and Bren Show. Peace.
Stuff you know and stuff you don't. It's the Ben and Bren Show.